Alright guys, wrapping up the tier list with the final section. This is Verdians, green, uh, I think like the Guardians, or blue color. I refer to them by the colors because the names are kind of weird, but I think just like the blues, the greens are kind of weaker overall, but I think they're better than the blues. Um, and like I said before, the tier list, I recommend building one color at a time and focusing on the best heroes. So in the next video after this one, once I make all of the individual tier lists, I'll group them all together and kind of compare them side by side to see how they go. So yeah, let's just start right off. Freya, one of the newer heroes overall in this game, unquestionably S tier. And side note, she's also who you should pick in the rookie. I'm also going to work on a new player's guide, but if you're a new player and you have the rookie summon thing, you should take Freya. And her main selling point is she has an aura that increases the attack speed of all tanks and fighters at the start of the battle. And it's a fighter meta right now, so she's for sure super good. And we'll just bring two healers in. I'm going to put them both in the A tier. I actually think they're pretty interchangeable, even though they do different things. So um, Idun is just basically a pure healer. So yeah, I mean that's basically her niche. She's a pure healer. She can actually also tank as she gets stronger, and so can Naga. Naga's drawing point is she when she overheals, she creates a shield for you, which is useful in PvE later. And then also she can stun lock an opponent, so she's actually like quite good in PvP. But they're actually both pretty good in PvP. And side note is Naga isn't as good in the Archimedes and Odin comp because she can make it so that the front line doesn't take any damage. Um, and you want Archimedes to take damage, so he gets targeted by Raven. So yeah, Naga can be, but anyways, yeah, they're both like very good healers, and they're paired often with this bad boy right here, uh, Chiron, Sharon. I don't know how to pronounce a lot of these names, but I think he's like A to S tier. Um, I I mean, people have been complaining that this list is a little too PvP focused. So I guess I'll bring him down to A. He's really good in PvP because he green as a faction bonus uh, is dominant over light. So you know a lot of top heroes are Luminarchs and a lot of them are frontlined as well. So green burst is really good, and he basically does a lot of burst damage. So he's pretty strong here. Um, and then I'll also put Oberon in the A tier as well. Oberon is really good. He can frontline. He has, I think his main selling point is he has a like a spinny thing that gives him invulnerability basically. Let me just double check that. Um, yeah, so it blocks all damage and debuffs. And once you get a higher level Yasa weapon on him, he can just maintain that invulnerability for like a very high uptime, which makes him really good overall. Very very strong hero. I'm just gonna start dumping some of these in as well and see where they end up if I can find them. A lot of the art actually kind of looks a little similar too. That's Titania. That should be most of them. I think I'm missing one. And that's going to be Poseidon. Yeah. Poseidon is like... Oh, and then I'm also missing Flora. I think Poseidon is like B to A here. He's pretty interesting, even under level, because he he has a passive that limits the amount of damage that he takes. So He's actually kind of like Leonidas from Blue. He's actually like a very good pound for pound tank. Even if he's not like pushed as high as like an Odin, for example. I think he's a pretty good tank. Flora, I would also put B. She does HP damage. She does a lot of damage. I think she was like a lot more viable as a carry back in the day. But she's kind of fallen off in power a lot with everything being power crept. Tomo, I kind of want to put at D tier because I feel like she's just pretty much outclassed by everyone. Like at this point, I don't really see what she brings to the table that's unique. I mean, she just kind of runs around all over the place, and it's not like she's super tanky, um, and it's not like she buffs or anything. So I think she's like better than D. Let's just bring her to C. But she's like hard outclassed by, all of the top DPS that we've listed so far, and she doesn't really bring any utility to the table other than magic damage. But let's put her at C. Uh, Titania is kind of interesting. There's a very good Champions Arena player in my guild who runs Titania in one of his lineups. She's kind of interesting. She has a sleep that's like not super useful. I'd say her most useful ability is she blinks out of physical damage, and it can actually have pretty high uptime. So she can actually like tank and disrupt the opponents. Um, Having said that, other players other than a few like super elite PvPers give her like D or C tier. Um, and yeah, I mean, I guess I'll give her a C, and I guess I'll give Gaia a C as well. Um, Gaia, she gets better and she takes more damage. I haven't played that much with her. She might be better, but I think another thing I should have done from the start is like if you look at the tier lists as like an order of priority on heroes to focus on, I think you would almost always want Poseidon over Gaia here. So she's at least a C. You would always build like Freya, and then you would build a healer, and you would kind of save Chiron and Oberon for later, because Oberon needs Yasa and Chiron's more for PvP. So it would kind of trickle down like this, and I think you'd pretty much like never put resources into these bottom ones unless you really like them. And I would encourage you, if you do like a hero a lot, if you're into like mythology, or one of your regions or hometowns has like a hero you really like, this game is actually like really well designed, and the heroes are all like pretty balanced. So I think every hero is viable if you want to build them. So just go ahead and do that. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this tier list overall, and when I do the list that kind of gathers all of the older ones, I will do a quick double check. But I think most of them were, pretty reasonable in that sense of like you should follow the list down when you pick the heroes to focus on. So yeah, thanks for watching. Would appreciate any comments and any upvotes on the Reddit link that I'm gonna post in the description.